unless you really need them for something. What were you getting ready to do? What were you doing? Parent cells making a whole new copy of DNA because it's getting ready to do what? We're getting ready to undergo the process of making two daughter cells. What's that called?
Mitosis.
That's right, exactly. Okay. Okay, does that make sense now? We do it before we do mitosis, right? So we're going to make two new daughter cells, and we're going to do it before we start the process of mitosis. And the last question is, well, when does this process occur? When? When do you do that? What was that? Was that called a phase? It's not prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, but it's something phase. Interphase. Interphase, exactly. This is interphase. Okay, so we're going to do it in interphase. Okay, so you can see how this works in a chart. Can you see how you can chart this pretty easily? Because you can have the simple definition, and then the next column is what? Simple definition, next column is what? Location. Next column is Y, and last is when, and then you have transcription, translation, and then kind of a heavy line because it's not associated with the last one, which is replication, right? Now you can just kind of fill in your boxes, make it really easy, and that way you don't miss anything. It's a pretty heavy point value question. So it's not like it's just 2 or 3 points, it's a lot. So make sure that you look at this one. It's not hard. You should be able to logically think through the answers as you look through it. Okay? So everybody's got this, is pretty cool. So protein synthesis is a pretty cool process. Transcription translation is very detailed, but we're going to know it in a simple way. Okay, so we're good with this? We're good? Yahoo, Yahoo, good. We're ready to go into the next part of this thing, which is to get into connective tissue. So let's do that before we go on break. We're going to introduce connective tissue. And then start looking at it too. Okay, again, so you have out your little handout that you had for studying what's on the lab test. So what's on the lab test for these tissues? We already went through epithelium, is that correct? So now we're going to look at the rest of it. What do we have to know? What are the rest of the things that we have to know? And how many slides do we have to still have that we haven't gone over? We haven't gone over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah! No, you know, it'll be all right. Because that was your secretly thinking, right? Silent scream, right? Okay, so what are the 4 types of tissues again? Now we're changing gears again, getting away from cancer and mitosis and all that protein synthesis talk. Now we're skipping into chapter 4, and we've got 4 different types of tissues. What was the first one we said again? We'll just practice them. Epithelium and what? Connective tissue, then muscle and nervous tissue. Awesome. So we got 4 different types of tissue. We did epithelium last Wednesday. So do you remember the function of epithelium? What does it serve as in the human body?
Protection.
It can be protection. Excellent. It is a lining tissue. Is that right? So we said like your skin, or the inside of your mouth, or the inside of your nose, or your ear, or the inside of any of your body parts, the inside of your stomach is epithelium, the inside of blood vessels, the inside of your heart. I mean, keep on naming it, and it's all the lining. So let me show you this picture before I want to get into connective tissue. It's a really good question. Who asked me this about the how to see what part of the slide I was going to ask the question on? It was such a good question. And so I've generated this picture here. So everybody's got this one, right? This is a big handout, a larger handout that just came around earlier. And you've got a picture of the trachea. And I made this myself, so it's not that great of a slide, but here we are. So the trachea is where in the human body? It's right here, is that right? Like I can feel mine because it's got like my voice box in it, above it, right? So it's your windpipe going all the way down, right? So the windpipe does anybody know if it's supported by anything? Does it have bone in it, the windpipe? It's got kind of a support, the hyoid bone's at the top of it, but the whole thing itself has no bone to it. It's very interesting. But it's supported by, I heard it, cartilage. Okay, good. When you first see the trachea next semester, and we'll show you a picture of a trachea on a sheet that's just huge, it looks like a vacuum cleaner tube. You ever seen like a vacuum cleaner hose when you like detach it and then you're like doing your couch or something like that? And it's got those little support rings in it, and the rest of it's kind of just like hanging like that, but it's got that ring in it all the way around, just like your trachea, okay? So trachea's got cartilage in it. Does it have any epithelium in it?
Yes.
It has to, because it's hollow, because air goes down it, doesn't it, right? And it's lined with epithelium. Anything that's hollow has to have an epithelial lining, right? So this particular epithelial lining has little bitty hair-like structures on it called what?
Cilia.
So anytime you see cilia on the lab test, what are you going to answer? Pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Awesome. That's exactly what it is. Now, if you would go to enlarged detail here, I want to just pull the slide up. That would be the easiest way. If you look at that picture there of that particular thing, I'm alive. So here we are, back out of my picture again. All right, so here we are. Trachea tissues for the show. Here's the picture in beautiful color, so you can see it better. So if you were a chalk dust particle going down my throat, right? Oh, look, I can just point my little ruler, right? Like, I love that, right? Like I'm gonna slap somebody or something. Okay, so here we are. If you're a piece of chalk dust or air particle, you'd be going right down through here, and this is a whole trachea. This is what the trachea looks like from here to here, right? So the air particles are gonna hit epithelium, and see that little row right there? That's cilia. That's cilia. You can hardly see it, and I never ask you like that on a test, but that's cilia. This is all epithelium from here to here. Underneath it is the connecting tissue. It's connective tissue. But look right here. Oh gosh, what does this look like here? See these little round cells right there? What do they look like? They are cuboidal. That's exactly right. It's glands, some little mucus glands in there. So there they are right there. This whole tissue right here is all cartilage. So somebody asked me, who was it? It was so great that they asked me that. They said, so epithelium just doesn't sit all by itself inside of your body? And I was like, yeah, that's a great question. It doesn't. It's always attached to something else. It makes the whole organ. Like it's the lining of the heart, but what else would you expect to see inside of the heart? Muscle, definitely. You'd see muscle. And connecting it all together would be connective tissue, right? Do you think there's any nerves going to the heart at all? Definitely. There's nervous tissue going to the heart, no doubt, because you can be affected. Your heart can be affected by your feelings almost, can't they, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes, definitely. So all four tissues are present in most organs. You'll see all of them. And that's what makes it hard on these lab tests is, you're like, well, what are you pointing at, right? I mean, now you've got all the tissues up there for me to have to know. And so I'll always try to zoom in so that we see this better, so that you get a zoom look at this. And always during the exam, if you think for a second during the lab test that you're not sure what I'm pointing at, then just raise your hand. Could you just sort of like outline what you're pointing at? It's a very, what I call intelligent question to ask to make sure that you know what's going on, okay? But here you get to see all the tissues kind of working together for support, lining, whatever they do, they're all pulling together for an organ, for the common purpose of making an organ, okay? So that's kind of why I put that slide in there. Is that slide on the lab test? No, okay? No, it's not. So you can just put, why did she put this on here, right? Right, it's not on the test anyway, right? Okay, so let's talk about connective tissue. That's our next tissue to talk about. And you know what? Let's do this instead. Let's talk about muscle and get it out of the way. And then we'll spend all connective tissue on the second part of the class. Is that cool? Muscle I can do in 15 minutes, then we go to break. Is that good instead of breaking this up? So let's do muscle first. Because muscle is awesomely cool and easy to do and has a short answer question. Okay, so we're going to do muscle tissue first. Okay, muscle tissue. Now muscle is a, and I want to go to this. These are for practice. I'll find them in a minute. Okay, so there's 3 different types of muscle. Muscle has one purpose in its world. It is involved in movement, okay? If you want skin, even though it seems like skin moves, skin only moves because of the muscle moving underneath it. Skin's just a barrier. It's just a lining, that's all it is. So if you want to have movement, you've got to have muscle tissue. And there are 3 different types of muscle tissue. They are skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. 3 different types of movement. And the last question at the bottom of that goofy page that got run off wrong, you see that question on there? It's a short answer question. And we need to know the differences between these 3 types of muscle tissue. That's the question on the bottom down there. And I'm going to make my favorite thing, because you always know I make a what out of it? A chart, because I'm the chart queen, right? And it makes it easier for all of us to study it if we make a chart out of it, okay? So what kind of things do we want to know about these 3 different types of tissues, okay? And then we'll be able to identify them based on what I show you right now. 3 different types of things. The first is this. Where could you find it? If you wanted to go look in the human body and you wanted to find this tissue, where would be this? Its location. Where would we find it? Okay, where would we find it? So skeletal muscle, it's real easy, it's in the word. It's attached to the what? Skeleton. Okay, it's attached to the skeleton, it's attached to bones. All right, it's attached to bones. Okay, it's attached to bones. So you right now are using your skeletal muscles to write with. I'm using it to talk. If you adjust in your chair, or you cross your legs, or you stand up, or you run, or any of those types of movements that you do, you smile, those are all what kind of muscle? It's all skeletal muscle attached to your bones, okay? Attached to your bones, and making your bones move, all right? So that's skeletal muscle. So where would we find, let's go to the easy one first, cardiac muscle. That's hard, right? We just find it one place. It's not in blood vessels, it's not anywhere else. It's in the heart. That's why it's called exclusively cardiac. That's the word. It's only in the heart. Okay? That's it. Well, we have a lot of other things that move in the human body. Just because I'm walking doesn't mean I'm moving food right now, right? All right? I can't move food or blood or any way this way. Skeletal muscle can't move food. Cardiac muscle can't move food. So what muscle must do it? Smooth muscle. And it's the harder of all the 3. It is located in the walls of hollow organs. Okay? It's located in the walls of hollow organs. Okay? Located in the walls of hollow organs. All right? Located in the walls of hollow organs. Smooth muscle. So the next column says this. And what would be, let's write down what would be a hollow organ, like what? Let's write it over here. Because you have to know sample locations here. Like what? Stomach, perfect one. If it moves food, it's probably in the intestines, right? Blood vessels. Okay. The uterus. Anything urinary to move right now. You know that urine isn't moved just by gravity. Urine can be, if you're standing on your head, can you push urine to your bladder? Certainly you can. Every night you sleep, right? Don't you push urine to your bladder? You have to go to the bathroom when you get up, right? Okay? So any urinary, like urinary bladder, the ureters, all those ureters, sound like Red Dude, okay? The ureters or any one of those structures are ones that can push urine. So any one of those things. There's so many, so just remember your favorite one so that you can share one with me on the test, okay? Just remember any one of those that's easiest for you to remember, okay? And hollow organ, then what do you mean